right, this is round 2. We got
Round
got a little bit of water. Got some cough drops. We're good.
More water.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we can get through this.
So this is going to be our...
This is attempt 1.
Our Raw review. This is attempt 2, technically.
Well, attempt 1 of our Raw review.
Yeah.
And see if we can how fast we can get through this.
Hopefully faster than we did.
After the pay-per-view, I was really like, okay, well, hopefully they'll do something good on Raw.
Yeah, I had high hopes that there was going to be...
I never had high
something
hopes.
on Raw. Well, I had...
My hopes are really low.
I had hope. Like, I had hoped maybe there would be an Asuka just appearance.
That would have been probably the best idea to do, really.
Because have Alexa Bliss be like, I'm still on top, blah, blah, blah. Nobody in this women's division can beat me. And
so I would have been happy just seeing Cesaro show up with his teeth fixed.
Yeah.
Would have been me, but...
I mean, that would have been a victory in of itself.
So the show started off with Reigns on the Miz TV. Because...
Setting up Reigns' next feud, from what I understand. Because they inadvertently Grand Slam Dirty Dean, so they have to fast track the other two now.
So it really, the angle ended up, back and forth. Shield versus Entourage is basically, or Miztourage, what they were trying to get out of it. And Angle comes out and makes the match for later, Miz versus Reigns. And then Entourage versus Miztourage versus Hardy and Jason Jordan.
Now, which Hardy?
Matt Hardy. Yes.
Because, wonderful, yes, because Jeff is injured.
And apparently he may be out for a while.
Which is a shame.
So,
But maybe when he comes back, we'll see Brother Nero.
I hope so. There's pros and cons with Miz and Reigns because Miz is a wonderful heel.
And he's an excellent IC champ.
And he can bend the crowd because, like, his work with Enzo... he really made Enzo look like an ass.
He was the face in that.
Yeah. Miz could turn face like that, in my opinion. Which would be great.
Especially now that he's going to be a dad.
Right. Family man Miz. If you want to turn Reigns heel, this would be the point, in my opinion, since you missed all the other points.
Have him be the heel to Miz's face.
Yeah, I think it would work.
And I think Miz would be able to sell him as a really good heel. Honestly.
I don't think they'll do it, but...
No way. They'll never do it.
But I really feel like Miz he's ready to turn face. I think his heel work is great, but I don't think he's going to get any more heat than he already has.
I think that's also why they're having Maurice step away a little bit, because having Maurice with him lends itself more to him being a heel than it does to being a face, because she's so naturally heelish. Just with her behavior and her cattiness.
It's because she's pretty and she's French Canadian, right?
No, it's 100% that.
But
not that I don't think that it could work, but I mean, I think that's why they've been avoiding it.
Skip what all happened there. We will straight to the tag match, and
because we can guess what happened.
And the Matt Hardy wins the pinfall because if Jason Jordan won the pinfall, they would probably go down the building. So I think they've kind of taken notice to that. Jordan
that their sell of Jordan,
gloves.
hasn't been quite as successful as they wanted it to be, especially with attaching him to Kurt Angle.
He's technically great in the ring, but he just can't seem to get over as a face.
It's really unfortunate because he's really good, and I mean when he was in NXT,
he's been there a long time.
Yeah, he was there for quite some time. And he cycled through tag team partners until finally they hooked him up with Chad Gable, and they were American Alpha, and they were so over.
I really wanted to see Shelton Benjamin and Jason Jordan as a tag team. I think that would have been a phenomenal.
They gave you the next best thing.
Jason Jordan Angle?
No, I mean Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, but that's
so you had that match,
SmackDown.
And that was that. And then we had Elias versus Apollo
again
rematch. The only great match again. The only difference was Titus got injected into the match a little bit. You had Elias mule kick Titus in the leg outside the ring, and then Titus ends up getting in the ring at the end of the match
because you don't treat the celebrity dad of the year that way.
He gets sucker punched more or less, and he stands up to Elias. Elias hightails it out of the ring. So I don't know what they're going to go if they will even touch on this. I've read that. Vince is a little forgetful in his old age now. So they're saying that would explain a lot why a lot of angles are just dropped. And not happen anymore because he just forgets about it.
Maybe he's forgotten about how he suspended Titus O'Neil last year, just out of nowhere.
Well, apparently, I think Carl Anderson made remarks that he doesn't realize that
the
Gallows was Festus.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So, I don't know.
Nobody tell him. Actually, tell him he'll forget tomorrow.
They'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Did not fire you. So after that, we have a little thing with Balor. He says he wants his Universal title back.
Because he never lost it, technically.
Which, maybe they're going to hint towards a Balor versus Brock match after this Wyatt feud.
I would love that. I am such a big fan of the David and Goliath concept.
Right.
I really wanted it to be with Daniel Bryan. That was my biggest dream.
Right.
But that will probably never happen in the WWE. And I think Balor would be a great person to topple.
We may be looking at that for Survivor Series.
That would be cool. I'd be down with that.
If they do a proper build, that would be a good feud, possibly.
If they defend the belt at Survivor Series,
yeah,
I would love that.
So after that, let's see what I got written down here. Oh yeah, they had Braun come out and destroy Hawkins. Literally, he just destroyed him. We'll never see Hawkins again.
Continuing the losing streak, the epic unbroken losing streak.
He went from the Star Maker to History Maker. So So
he was the Superstar Factory, I think it was.
Yes, Hawkins may be history now. He got thrown through the
Titantron.
Yeah. And then Braun had his open challenge again because they don't know what to do with him. So we go back to...
And he needs a challenge.
Grade 1. He's competition. He's pissed off and he's competition. So who comes out? It's got to be this big bad heel's going to come out. No. Dean Ambrose.
It was Dirty Dean. So
half your tag champions come out.
Is it? I say this is a build to having Braun Strowman be the tag team champions. He is the tag team champions, just himself.
I don't know. I'm like, why would you have one of your top faces come out when Braun is so over?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't do anything for anybody.
Nobody.
It was really
Absolutely
just
nobody.
genuinely a 100% filler.
So with that, of course, Braun wins, and later on, Ambrose and Rollins are talking. Ambrose is kind of laughing it off, more or less, and Rollins is giving him the 4-1 on why would you do this? We're a tag team
There's a purpose,
now.
yeah.
This affects me. And then, like, somehow this Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck thing happens, and Rollins
it's like, well, I'll do it next week.
Yeah, he's going to challenge Braun next week. So we're going to get Rollins versus Braun next week, which also makes no sense.
Yeah.
Of course, we had the Rollins Sheamus match.
I say they're going to build him. I'm calling this right now. It's going to be Braun Strowman as the tag team champion. Because they're not going to strap him with the Universal yet.
I don't.
They're not going to strap him with the IC. What other belts can he go after? The tag team.
It's all filler. It's just I don't know what they're going to do. Especially since they teased Shield versus Miztourage in the beginning. Why would you have this at all? It doesn't make any sense to me. Then we had some Alexa Mickey build because, of course, she just defeated all the other girls.
So I thought I thought that was gonna be her celebrating, being like, I'm so great, nobody's beaten me, and then have that be a good way for Asuka to get introduced because then Asuka can say nobody's ever beaten me.
We don't know how long this small feud will last. I mean, they could do it next week on Raw, and that'd be the end of it.
Yeah.
So. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
It would be interesting because one of the best matches that Asuka's ever had was Mickie James' return match, which is what got her the WWE contract. Because it was supposed to be...
And, I mean, Mickey's good, so...
Yeah. Mickey's still great in the ring.
Yeah.
They keep talking about, what if she has ring rust after 7 years away? She was away from the WWE. She wasn't away from wrestling.
Right. Oh, I mean, of course she did... she was away for a little while... Because she had a baby.
Yeah, but I mean...
And I mean, you can't really
not for 7 years. She wasn't out of the ring for 7 years.
That would be a long term. Anyway.
But we'll see what goes on in
the women's tag match.
which was Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Emma.
Which was
again
okay. I don't know what the plan for that was. I don't even remember who won. I think it's Sasha and Bayley won. It was just kind of there. Raw was pretty much just filler matches all night.
Yeah.
Which sucks for a 3-hour show.
And which is really unfortunate after a pay-per-view that left so many people wanting more.
Yeah.
You would think that you would deliver on the next day. Sort of like how Royal Rumble earlier this year disappointed a lot of people with the Rumble match. So you would hope that the Raw after makes up for it, and the Raw after sort of did. I mean, Samoa Joe showed up. So.
Well, I'm sorry, the women's match came a little bit later, but there was build to it. There was Sheamus and Rollins, which is another filler match pretty much. Rollins won. That was that.
Continuing the saga of...
Then we have
the Sheamus and Cesaro
only thing really new.
And
we had Balor in the back, runs into Goldust. They have a few words. Goldust attacks Balor. Goldust turns heel again.
Which is a shame, because I thought after last week's Raw, where he went out and he was like, I'm asking you this, Kurt, as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have Bray Wyatt. And he went out as Dustin Rhodes.
Right.
For the first time in years, decades.
Although he was still wearing his Goldust
He's still wearing
outfit.
the Goldust outfit. He just didn't have the paint. But I thought this was like, he's reinventing himself. This is going to be a good face run, especially because of the whole build to Starrcade.
Right.
Have this be a face build for Goldust.
Nope.
I thought it would be great. But nope. We can't have those things.
I mean, maybe they'll build on it more. Maybe he's getting interjected into this feud, which I thought was over, but at the end of the match, they ended up having later in the show, which was a decent little match.
I mean,
Balor versus Goldust.
Goldust has never looked better in his career.
And at the end of the match, we have the little Tron flash up for the beginning of Bray and stuff, and they sing the little child song, I have the whole world in my hands. And that was it. There was really no follow-up. It was just a little thing to say, hey, this feud's not over with. Because Bray's lost twice.
Yeah, which is why. Why is it not done?
Yeah. So I expect they'll interject Goldust into this, and...
Unless this is the long build to get a new Wyatt family.
Maybe Goldust is going to become part of it. I don't know.
Which would be weird. Which would be
really weird.
Bizarre. Ha ha, I get
it. So yeah, there's that. Then we had Reigns versus Miz. Reigns wins. And I really feel like Reigns had no response on Raw. There wasn't even like...
Which I guess is better than...
enough to boo anymore.
Than outright hatred, but not really.
Right. There was like 10, 14-year-olds that screamed for Reigns. And it was like, wow, he's not even really getting...
His usual demographic.
Yeah. And, of course, Reigns wins.
But I mean, that's how you know it's not working.
By the Miz Taraj. And I can't even remember if there was any chance that broke out from that or anything. But they put him out pretty good. And the whole time I was expecting, okay, Shield's going to come out. Rollins and Ambrose are going to come out and make the save. They never did.
No.
It left you wanting them to.
Because he's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's the guy. He's the only guy.
But it's like when
he's the one-man band.
When you've teased this, don't ever say that. You cannot compare Roman Reigns to Heath Slater.
That's an insult to Heath Slater.
It is an insult. It's a huge insult. He's got kids, yo.
He needs this job.
So yeah, I don't know why they would tease it, not have it happen, or
it's got to be for a bigger moment.
Something.
Honestly,
it does. But then why build it up for that? Because it left you wanting it, but then not getting it kind of felt awkward. Like they should at least, like in the old days, it would be like, okay, Ambrose and Rollins, this has already happened. Okay, they're leaving the building. It's a plot hole. So to not have it, it's just like, why didn't they make the save? It's bad writing.
It's not well thought out.
It's not.
Is the unfortunate thing.
Then we had the women's match, I think, somewhere in there, and yeah, I don't know. And then of course we get the Enzo celebration.
The certified celebration for the new WWE Cruiserweight champion.
And of course Enzo comes out and he starts cutting a heel promo.
All his promos are heel promos.
They really are. All the cruiserweights come out from 205, and he goes down the row and just starts berating them one by one. And then we have Neville's music hits. Neville comes down, they cut their little thing. And Enzo, earlier in the night, had talked Angle into making a contract that nobody can touch him. And if they do, then they forfeit their chance at a title shot. And so you have Neville saying, "I'm going to kill you." And
break your arms off in the rings of Saturn.
And Enzo's taunting him like, "You can't, or you won't get another title shot." And Neville basically goes, "Worth it." And just goes on to kick the little crap out of Enzo. It's the only time I've ever wanted to see the Red Arrow. Really.
They teased it. They teased it at No Mercy, and then he ended up trying to go for, I think, the Phoenix Splash?
Something, yeah. I'm not a huge Neville fan from his early push. I like him in this role now.
Oh, he's a great heel.
So having that
better heel than he would have been Mighty Mouse.
Essentially, Enzo turned heel, Neville turned face. If they keep up with it, which is their track record right now for faces and heels is really bad. WWE's in this state right now where nobody is anything. You just have a locker room full of heels, and it's hurting the show.
They've inundated both their rosters with heels because for a very long time, across the board, the only face champion was Naomi.
Right.
Which was bizarre.
It hurts the show, and it's, and if you say you're booking for casual fan, which is a whole other subject for me because I don't know what the hell a casual fan is. Because if you're just flipping the channels, I guess you're the casual fan.
But you're not going to be attached to any of these people and know what's going on as a casual fan.
Yeah, if you flip on, you see these two guys just slinging words back and forth. And
you're not going to care.
Because
you're not emotionally invested in either of these people, so these promos don't matter to you.
Yeah.
These promos matter very much to smarks like us, who discuss them a lot.
I mean, yeah.
And that's why they kept using. That's why they kept using all those promo, or that one single promo with Reigns and Cena throughout the whole build of their match.
Yeah. And it's just very, it's very tiring to see them not stick with something, especially if you've watched wrestling for so long. And
they've stuck with one thing. They've stuck with having Roman Reigns be the guy. They gave so many opportunities to turn him heel, and instead of doing it, they just double down on their bet.
Right. If I'm writing a story and I just keep telling the reader, this is the guy.
This is the story that you're supposed to care about.
You're supposed to care about this guy. You got to care about this guy. But I give them no reason to care about it. That person's never going to finish reading the book.
Yeah.
He's going to chuck it on the side.
There's just not going to be any sort of engagement.
And, I think a lot of our wrestling friends probably, they watch and they kind of go, eh. And then they kind of chuck it on the side. They don't watch Raw. They don't watch SmackDown. They don't watch the pay-per-view.
I know a lot of people that don't watch WWE at all.
Yeah, he's got to the point where he just watches pay-per-views. He doesn't watch Raw or SmackDown.
I have friends that don't even watch WWE. They'll watch Ring of Honor, PWG, New Japan, all that, but they've lost interest in the product.
I will say this, and we're going to cover a range of different promotions on our regular podcast.
We're going to have a couple other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Starting from next week, we are going to have 2 more people come in, and they're going to focus on Lucha Underground and British wrestling.
And we're also going to focus on...
I'm going to be focused on, of course, New Japan. And this guy...
I've been regulated to cover GFW, TNA,
You volunteered. When I gave you the choice...
Nobody else is going to cover it. And also, it's probably not going to be around very long to cover anyway. So, but I will say this, like, out of trying to keep up with them, at least the stuff they're doing, this past pay-per-view and Raw was just pure crap. And
they're unchallenged.
At least when I watch Impact, I know who's face and who's heel.
Yeah.
Even if I've never seen the guys before.
Oh, it's very clear cut.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, even as complex as a story can be, and when you're trying to develop a character,
but it's
or change the role,
to hook a person into it, it's a lot easier that this is the good guy, this is the bad guy, this is their fight,
and this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if I was to watch any of the Raw matches just out of context,
it would be hard to tell.
Yeah.
Outside of perhaps just like aesthetic of
so let's say you take Braun versus Ambrose out of context. You just flipped it on when Ambrose was coming out. I would go, okay, well, who's
what? Who's
face? Who's heel?
I mean, you could.
Ambrose is wrestling a face match. Braun is wrestling a monsters match.
Yeah, you would assume that Braun Strowman would be the heel because he's just bigger.
But he's going to do a move. He's not really doing anything major heel tactics.
Yeah.
He does a move, and then the crowd responds, like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, well, I'm assuming that's the heel because the other guy definitely is wrestling the face match.
Mm-hmm.
But it's confusing.
It's very unclear, and because of that, it makes it hard for people who they are targeting, the casual fans, to get invested in a certain person. When I was getting back into wrestling a couple years ago, the person I gravitated the most towards was Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, it was him with Kane. And they were a comedy tag team at that time, but this was around the time where they were solidly like a face comedy tag team,
mm-hmm.
and this was around the time where they were building back up for the Undertaker, so they were the ones that would come out whenever someone was trying to attack the Undertaker. So they were clearly starting to build more towards face prior to their break up as a tag team, and having that story be laid out for me in a clear way made me care more.
Right.
And because that story is what got me to tune in week to week, and I wanted to see that unfold, I started picking up other things on the side. So all it takes is one really good, solid, clear-cut
mm-hmm.
face versus heel showdown to get people interested. But if you don't have even that one very solidly good guy versus bad guy epic fight, it's going to be really hard for people to get engaged.
Yeah.
And I think that's the struggle they're having right now on Raw specifically.
More so Raw.
SmackDown, it's a little bit easier to see.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how people and how the wrestlers and characters are portrayed on SmackDown. The
mm-hmm.
promos and the segments they're given give people a lot more insight into their characters.
SmackDown's shorter too.
SmackDown is shorter, so it's interesting that they're
fill all these hours.
They're a lot more effective at how they use their time to build up their superstars versus Raw, which has the extra hour and potentially would have that extra time to be able to more solidly
doing their roles.
Yeah,
there's the fans are responding how they should for the characters.
Yeah.
Whereas the fans are completely behind Braun. He's a spectacle. He's the Road Warriors. And it's hard to keep someone in that position a heel. Because everybody wants to be that monster that just can't be defeated. People are drawn to that. That's why Goldberg got over.
Yeah.
He had that huge streak. And
that's why Goldberg was able to come back last year and this year.
Right.
And still retain a lot of that glory that he
mm-hmm.
had back when he was in his original run.
Which is the irony is that's what they wanted for Reigns. That's what they got from Braun, and they won't let it go. But so there was an exclusive on WWE.com after the Raw finish, which was Braun actually coming down, got in the ring, completely destroyed Enzo after he was destroyed by Neville. And then the Cruiserweights all come down. Braun's like, you can have him. They all come in. And, of course, the crowd popped like crazy. Braun comes down, destroys Enzo. Raw. And then the Cruiserweights come down and do all their finishers to Enzo.
It's beautiful.
It should have been on Raw.
I'm a really big fan of the Cruiserweight division. I was completely glued to the Cruiserweight Classic last year. I thought it was just at every level, every round they had, there were such good matches, and it gave every single person in that Cruiserweight Classic an opportunity to shine, even if they didn't make it to the next round. Cedric Alexander's match with Kota Ibushi was one of the biggest reasons he ended up getting signed with the WWE. And he lost that match with Ibushi. So, I mean, that's a testament to show that the level of talent there is in this division that unfortunately isn't being as displayed as it should be. The biggest thing
is just getting characters over. They don't have anyone that's larger than life. That's why Enzo kind of works there.
But his, as Big Cass said, his mouth writes checks, his ass can't cash.
Right. Can Enzo carry the Cruiserweight division is the question. Will people pay to see Enzo get his ass kicked? Maybe.
I hope so. And it's interesting because his finisher right now is a move done better by two women in TNA.
Yes.
Mia Yim and Gail Kim.
Yeah.
Eat defeat. It's a great looking move. Don't get me wrong, and I'm glad he has something so distinct
that nobody else is doing
for himself in the WWE.
Yeah.
But his execution of it.
His execution with anything sucks. The guy can't fall out the ring without getting hurt. Neither can Cass, but
yeah, that's a different story.
You just can't teach that.
Oof! Look at what you did.
I know, but yeah, that was the end of Raw. That was the exclusive, which probably should have been on Raw.
Oh, it would if that
to
closed
end with
Raw,
your biggest face on the show coming out to destroy one guy that
people would have gone
hates.
Nuts if that closed Raw. That would have saved Raw for a lot of people.
Raw was booked very weird. I felt that they should have ended with Reigns and Miz. They didn't.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was a clear sort of feud going forward.
Yeah, they really did filler stuff with Braun. They didn't have anything major for him. This would at least...
because Brock wasn't going to show up.
I think if you had shown Braun just kind of storming around all night, just destroying...
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone in his path.
More so the bad guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then have him come out and destroy Enzo for the finish would have made a lot more sense and would have bought you some time to figure out what to do with him.
Yeah.
Instead of just booking whatever. I don't know. Very strange.
I also felt like the Mickie James injection into the women's storyline now.
Yeah. Why was she just included?
Why not have it be a 6-pack?
Yeah.
But who knows what the story was there? The idea was for it. Maybe it was.
See my cat up in the background beside your head.
Or that way. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was a strange Raw, and
it's interesting. It'll be interesting to try and figure out where they're going to go from here, because, like I said, the only very clear thing that we got out of this Raw is that it's probably going to be now a feud between Reigns and Miz.
Yeah.
Probably because
Shield versus Miztourage? Maybe?
They inadvertently gave Dean Ambrose the first Grand Slam out of the 3 members of the Shield. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that was an accident.
Oh, yeah.
I'm absolutely certain because it took them so long to acknowledge it after it happened. But yeah, because he came into the WWE, when he came into the main roster, he won the U.S. Championship fairly soon after. Then once the Shield split up, he got the IC Championship. Then he was also the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And then they tagged him with Rollins and gave him the tag team.
Yep. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah. Hopefully
this has been the Raw review.
Which was half as long
as the paper.
We tried to be a lot more concise.
So maybe we'll do a SmackDown review as well. I don't know. And see you next time.
Bang bang.